Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're specifically going to talk about the concept of what Dungeons & Dragons is. I think this is the most important question in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. What is Dungeons & Dragons? It's very hard to understand. It's incredibly non-intuitive, okay? I understand that what I'm about to say to you, absolutely no one on the internet is saying this. No one in the industry is saying this. None of the player groups are saying this. None of the dungeon masters are saying this. But I'm saying it. I don't think Dungeons & Dragons is a game. I think it's fundamentally more important than being a game, and I think it's fundamentally more than a game, okay? So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a story, a narrative, to help you see Dungeons & Dragons the way I see it. I think I'm the first person to see this, right? And I understand. I'm fully aware that this opinion is countercultural. It's against the tabletop role-playing game culture. It's against everything that everybody's saying about Dungeons & Dragons. But I'm here alone, standing in a field, telling you what I believe because I think it's true. I think Dungeons & Dragons is not a game. I think it's fundamentally more than that, and I think it's fundamentally more important. And that saying Dungeons & Dragons is a game is, in my opinion, so diminutive and so disrespectful and so in my opinion, it doesn't capture the truth. Okay, so let's go. All right. So I want you to imagine. I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm hoping this will help you to see Dungeons & Dragons as I see it. Okay. I want you to imagine that you are a traveling salesperson. Okay, and you travel America selling encyclopedias. Okay, so you go to you go to a small town, and you go to a beautiful house. Okay, it's a beautiful blue house in a large field, okay? And behind the house is a brand new, gorgeous, right? High yellow, right? Just this super bright yellow Caterpillar 320D excavator. Now you look at this thing and you know exactly what it is. This is an excavator. It's used to dig gigantic holes in the ground. It's a $250,000 piece of equipment, and it's used to dig gigantic holes in the ground. It can also be used to move equipment, okay? Like large pipes, and you could, lift shingling up to roofs and things like that. It's an incredibly powerful, useful construction vehicle, okay? So you knock on the door, and you've already seen the Caterpillar 320 excavator in the backyard. And this nice nice gentleman answers the door, and he says, "Hi," and you say, "Hello, I'm a traveling salesperson. I'm here to sell you some encyclopedias. But first I have to say that's a really interesting piece in your backyard." And the gentleman says, "Yes, it's a game." And you're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that big, yellow thing in the back of my yard, it's a game." You're like, "Why do you think that's a game?" And he says, "Well, come on out. I'll show you how we play," right? So this gentleman, one of his children comes out. They jump into the scooper, right? Into the scooper. And he goes, now, my little child there has jumped into the scooper, and now I'm going to get into the cab, and watch this. We're going to play the game, right? And so then he turns on the Caterpillar D, big powerful engine, right? And he then swirls his child around in a circle and lifts the scooper up and down. And the child just laughs with glee, right? And like, ah, ha, 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 ha. And by the way, his child, let's say they're 18 years old, okay? So they're an adult, but they're an adult child, right? They're a child of the parent. It's the child of the parent, but they're an adult too, right? All right. And let's say the father's like 45, okay? All right. Then, the father carefully shuts the Caterpillar down, lowers the scoop, shuts it down, says, "It's a game. We have so much fun with this game," right? And you're looking at it and you're like, "What?" Like, this is a $250,000 device that does it's not a game, right? Like, you're like, this has tracks and it can move, right? Also, that's incredibly powerful. It could do a lot more than just twirl a person around to have fun. And look, the father looks dead in the eye, and the child looks at you and goes, "This is a game. Like, how do you not understand that this is a game? We have fun with this. The purpose of this device is to have fun." right? It's a game. And you're like, well, if it's a game, who wins and who loses? Oh, there's no win-lose in this game. It's a game, but there's no win-lose. You just have fun. The whole purpose for the person in the cab is to have fun, and the whole purpose of the person in the scooper is to have fun. And you're like, and you just shake your head and you're like, oh, okay. And you also realize they're dead set. They believe this with all their heart, right? And you realize this is important to them. They think this is a game, and they think the purpose of this device is to have fun, right? And you're like, you know what? I got sales to make, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to leave these people. I'm not going to disavow them of their belief. I'm just going to keep moving, right? And I think that's exactly what's happening today with Dungeons and Dragons. I think Dungeons and Dragons, and the reason, and I have to say, my personal experience is why I believe this. My life has been transformed by Dungeons and Dragons, right? At 12 years old, I read 750 pages. I read the DMG, the MM, and the PHP, and my life would never be the same again. At 12 years old, I knew I was a world builder, a world breaker. I controlled thousands, I had the ability to make and control thousands of non-player characters in the Life Academy, to build narratives for hundreds of players, right? For dozens or hundreds of players. Actually, I think I've well over 100. I've DM'd for well over 200 people. No two ways about it. So hundreds is correct, right? And the other thing is, this last year I read an incredibly deep and specific book on architecture, right? I've read so widely based on my desire to understand cartography, understand royalty, understand agriculture, right? All from Dungeons and Dragons. My life has been so transformed that I'm convinced that I make more money. I'm able to be a better husband and a father. I'm able to socialize better. That when I look at Dungeons and Dragons and people say, this is a game, not a personal journey that people go on to become better people, it seems ludicrous to me. I can't even fathom it. It seems like the most reductive, ridiculous, really just repugnant stance that I've ever heard. It seems like such a waste for the people involved in it and for the people understanding that thing, And it's the same thing. That salesperson would be like, this could dig, this could be used to dig out a basement and give, a house another level. This could be used to, make roofers' jobs easier. This could be used to, dig tunnels so that we could put pipes underground, right? It could be used to dig up gold, right? It's so clearly more useful than what these people understand it to be. It's so much more powerful, so much more valuable, so fundamentally different than what they think it is, that it shocks me. It just shocks me that people still say D&D is a game, and the purpose of that game is nothing more than having fun. And if you're having fun, you're doing it right. I think it's reductive, disrespectful, just outrageously wrong, right? And I'm just trying to get you to see what I see, right? Because I'm the only person standing in this field, and I know I'm saying something different than what people think. But I don't think I'm wrong. I really don't. Well, that's my opinion. I'm willing to hear yours, right? And I'm even willing to be corrected. If you think there's things that I'm missing, just let me know. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.